Hello and welcome to SGDC. That was way too quick. I am your finger-licking good host, Brian. SGDC, otherwise known as Spelkollektivet Game Development Conference. We are a co-living, co-working environment in the south of Sweden, the only one in the world. Lots of developers are working here, indies, groups, small teams, bigger teams. All working on their games and their projects. So we're going to share our stuff. The first person to share their stuff with Paper Pinball, a global game jam game, is Schu. Someone got rid of your...
No worries.
One of your tabs.
I will regain my tab.
Wait 1 second. I noticed there's something wrong. It is not switched over. That was great. They just got the Patreon screen the entire time.
Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Schu. This is my presentation. Basically, this past weekend I did Global Game Jam down in Malmo at the Game Habitat, and it was great. Here's a picture from the showcase on the last day. This is a picture of my team, myself on the right, and then the dude in the yellow is Milan. He's a technical artist at Playdead. We met a week before, so 2 weeks ago, just at another playtesting event at the Game Habitat, and he was like, I'm an artist and I want to do the Global Game Jam, but I don't have a programmer. I'm a programmer, I didn't have an artist, so match made in heaven. So we kind of agreed that we would partner up, and then the third guy there is Aaron. He did all the audio in the game, and he was great. The vibes on the team were very strong. Basically, going into it, me and Milan had a couple of goals. Milan wanted to make something that was very polished, kind of as polished as possible. So we bought this plugin called Feel that I can highly recommend. It's basically a component-based system in Unity to add juice very easily. It's really nice. There's basically just a ton of different, any kind of juice, whether it's screen shake or scaling or changing the color stuff or whatever, can all be done through components, as you can see on the thing on the left. And you can tweak all the values, animation curves, everything. So that was really nice. This is a screenshot from before the game jam. I was just we got down there early, so I was just kind of messing around making kind of a Katamari time plus pinball type game. This isn't what we ended up doing, but it kind of inspired what we ended up doing. So that was just to learn it. And then this screenshot kind of looks like nothing because it's whatever. Basically, we decided that we wanted to make a pinball game where you are the pinball. So you control the pinball at first it was by moving around with arrows, and basically you would bounce into a bumper and then bounce into another one, and if you have enough speed and you're bigger than the bumper, you destroy it and you get bigger. So this was just kind of the first level where you're destroying the smaller stuff, and then eventually you get big, you destroy the bigger stuff. We kind of started with basically we wanted to have something that was playable as quick as possible, so we could constantly be testing it, which I think worked out very well for us, because it became evident that it did not work. And one of the reasons why it didn't work is we realized this design required a lot of level design. So as you can see, this little setup here, there's a small area and then a medium one and then there's a bigger one. And we just realized you actually kind of need to carefully design it, because in this example here, basically how it worked is you would smash the skulls first, and then get a little bigger, and then you can smash the drum kit to get out into the next area. But it was just very clear from early playtesting that we would have needed to really fine tune how much bigger do you get, what things are you able to destroy. And another problem was that it was really awkward that you have to bounce off of something and then into something else. It's not natural to think that way. In Katamari, you go towards the thing you want to roll up. In this, you have to go towards something else to get into the thing to roll it up. The art style here, it started coming in. Basically, Milan wanted to do a paper collage type thing. And basically, I'll show gameplay later, but things like grow and the images change when you hit them, which is really cool. But yeah, so kind of basically halfway through the game jam, we realized that this wasn't working, so we decided to lean into pinball and like what makes pinball fun. So we got rid of the growing mechanic. Instead, it was just going to be basic pinball, and this is what the level now looks like. So it's just a very static arena where you can bounce off stuff, and we kind of took time to like tweak the angles of everything so it makes sense. Our audio engineer, Aaron, had a great idea that like, what if one of the collage images highlights and that becomes the target, and that's how you get points, is like you're trying to hit that. And we tried that out, we tested that quickly, and then we realized like, yeah, that like is much more intuitive of, okay, there's this thing highlighted, let's go hit it. And I guess now I'll just show you what it looks like. The matches are 60 seconds, so I should be able to do a full one here.
You got 40 seconds.
Okay. All right, well, I'll do 40 seconds of this. Basically, yeah, this is how it works. So you can see there's a green thing up here. We're trying to hit the green thing. You get points. You also get points for rolling up the little color splotches. Originally it was arrow keys to move. Now it's you click to move. You click out of the screen. That's bad. Yeah, I'm trying to get to this green thing down here. Boom, I get points. So now another green thing will have appeared. You can get stuck right there. And yeah, as you can see, everything like changes when you hit it. Random elements pop up, collage style, I guess. And then, yeah, so there is, last slide I'll show you real quick. There is also a local leaderboard, which is great for the like final showcase, because like Lorenzo, for example, played like 7 times to get the high score. So it was definitely effective to get people playing. After SGDC, right here in the round room, we will be hosting a local tournament, and there will be 3 double nougat rewards to the top 3 earners. So if you would like to play this game and possibly earn some double nougat, please come by. Thank you. Any questions? Yes?
Yeah, has my high score been beaten?
Well, yeah, I literally played once after you and beat your high score.
No.
So. Yes, James.
What's your key learning? The one takeaway you would have?
Honestly, it went really well. I think at the start we had kind of defined goals as well as defined roles, and that I think, like it was, for me, it was an example of how to do a game jam right. We had something play testable very early, which I think was really important, as well as because that allowed us to find we spent a lot of time experimenting, trying something kind of unique, and then when we realized it didn't work, we pivoted into something that we knew would work, and I think that accomplished our goals. So yeah, having set goals that kind of helped guide what we wanted out of it. If we wanted to do something experimental, maybe we would have keep trying to do that, even if it resulted in a bad game. But we wanted a polished game, so that is what we ended with. Yes, Daniel.
How did you guys know when to drop your original idea instead of keep beating on that till it worked?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess it was just kind of a gut feeling, because we were already like over 24 hours into it. And we had just been trying this idea, like we had slept on it, and we could tell something was off. So really it came down to Aaron suggesting, like, what if we tried this? And then we tried having one target. And then we tried that, and it was very obvious, like, okay, that works well, and we don't have to do as much level design. So I think it was just, I don't know, like, I guess we realized we needed to change. It wasn't working. We needed to try something a little drastic. And then when we tried that, it worked. So we just leaned into it more.
Cool, thank you.
All right. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Next up, he's sad that it's February. He's going to talk about January. It's Hjalte. Hello,
Alright, wait. January. Okay, so I'm just gonna talk a bit about what happened in January. First, I released my game again, this time on phones, which was cool. And then I went to Copenhagen to play this board game, but also to show the game at a conference. And got help from some lovely friends. And yeah, people played the game. And especially kids really liked the game, so of course we forced them to download the game. And then because we didn't really monetize them enough, so we also turned them into an ad, I guess. Anyway, I was like really tired after this, and in fact I had been tired for a while. So I went to Portugal, and I know this is like a game conference, not the holiday conference, so I'll make it quick, but if you want to hear about it, I'll tell you everything. But so like a really super fast summary is like I went there, it was beautiful, and I met a bunch of people, and I drank a shitload of coffee, found some skulls, went to this place, slept in a car, met this musician guy, slept on his couch, and met all his animals. He had like a lot. I was a model for some reason. I'll tell you all about it later, don't worry about it. But I swear it's relevant because actually, at the end of my trip, I also went to a game jam, and I met all of these people, and this was my team, the best team, and we made a little game that I'm gonna show you. See.
It looks just like Elon Musk now.
You did it bad.
I thought it looked like Hannibal.
So this game is about. Do we have audio? Yeah. The game is about like you walk by an office building, you see a party with free food, and you're like, okay, I want to eat that food, but you don't work there, so you have to gaslight people into believing that you do work there. So you're just at the party, eating food. Okay, wait. He was from accounting, so let's not say we're from accounting. Who is that? Oh shit. Yeah, basically, you try your best to go under the radar, and more people come by to talk to you. And you can kind of... Oh shit. You can offend people. And if you say suspicious stuff, then this meter will go up, and it means like you're being suspicious. And we have this one more fun thing. What do you need a vacation for? Yeah, so that's kind of the game. You go through all the characters. It's just sort of like a company. They have some interspersing relationships. And yeah, you can kind of use information from previously to figure out what you're supposed to answer. And it's a typing game, if it's not obvious. So yeah, it was really fun to make. Typing games are fun. Any questions? James?
Did you go to Portugal alone?
Yes. Tintin?
Was this game inspired by a specific company or company event?
I mean, I've gone to a few places I probably shouldn't to eat their food, so maybe. Yeah, Daniel.
Chat asks if we can play it. Is the link somewhere?
Oh yeah, I guess I posted in Showcase, sure. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you.
Next up, being a weirdo making games, it's Rémi.
Yeah, don't get overexcited. There is no. I didn't do the game jam last week, so I will just show boring updates. Updates for Froglike and for Time Glitch this week. So in Froglike, I reused the art we have for the roadmap and most of the thing we had for the roadmap to make a disclaimer screen when you start the game to tell you that this is, in that case here, this is a demo. You can buy the game here. You can join our Discord here. And if you are already bought the early access, then the disclaimer screen changes slightly, and talk about everything we will add to the game later. So yeah, it's basically the same thing, except when you play the demo, the disclaimer shows you what you can find in the early access, and when you play the early access, the disclaimer shows what's gonna come later. This week we added 2 power-ups. These bugs here that you have to chase, they're running away from you. And if you finally pick them up, this one is gonna call your friends with party hats here all around. And they come up and they eat the bugs. And then you can just grab the XP. And they stay for maybe 10 seconds or so, and then they leave. But they leave the XP for you. And the second one behaves quite the same. You have to chase it. It's this one here, the green one. And it's gonna just pick up everything on that level. So just all the XP, all the coins, the points, sorry. And yeah, we plan to add 6 more of these power-ups. But that's for next week. On Time Glitch, we added a save system, which was missing. So now when you start the game, you have the choice of either starting the game from the beginning with no knowledge of the dices. Dices is a plural? I don't know. Or continue previous session. So we actually saved the previous session now. And also we added some text here that appear after a few loops to teach you that you can long skip. You can just hold space to skip all the cutscenes you already see. Yeah. Froglike now has an experimental branch where you can try out the power-ups I mentioned before. And you can join the experimental from our Discord, get the role, get the password, and have the access to the experimental branch on Steam. And other than that, both games, Froglike and Time Glitch, are part of Games in Sweden. It's an event on Steam. And last thing is, yeah, you can notice like a bit more wish lists from that event. I'm pretty sure it's from that event because that's the only thing that both games participated in. The spike here matches. Yep. Yeah, that's it for this week. Any questions about any of those games? Yes.
Any sneak peeks for the other power-ups, or are those top secret for now?
I didn't prepare anything. I think I showed something before. You're gonna have to wait for next week, or join the experimental and you can try out the new power-ups there. James.
If I chase the small frogs when they're abandoning me, do I basically get to keep them for as long as I keep them on
Yes,
screen?
you get to keep them. As long as they are on screen, they stay.
So,
And if they just move too far, they despawn, basically.
nice.
You can chase them, yes. Brian?
Does the power-up that gathers everything towards you, does that pull health power-ups to you as well, or does it ignore those?
That ignores those. Yeah, it's just gonna grab all the XP and Freunds, basically, that is on the map. There is a bug right now that, if there's too many spawned at the same time, it's not gonna spawn more, so that's an issue. So you have to recycle the old ones, I think. Yeah, I don't know how to fix that, but I mean, it's gonna be fixed for next week, I think. But yeah, it's just someone on the Discord mentioned that one. Yeah. Anyway, no more questions. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up to talk about either Cyberpunk modification or Minecraft, I'm not sure. It's Flan. Talking about Flan.
Hello. So I've got a presentation. So I haven't done a presentation in a couple weeks, month maybe. So I was preparing a presentation and I thought all these themes are really boring. So I actually just spent like half an hour to an hour this afternoon just researching slideshows. But I think I found the right template, so I'll just get started talking about Flan's mod. Yes, so I'm going to talk to you about Flan's mod. What is it? So I have been making Minecraft mods for years and years, since like 2011. It is a collection of all of my mods that kind of work together, but it also loads content from other creators. So you can load up my mod, and then you can add, cyberpunk stuff. You can add World War II stuff. You can add whatever you want. So it's got like vehicles, tanks, planes, helicopters, mechas, all that sort of stuff, guns, and some multiplayer combat and stuff. So the last version that it was out on is Minecraft version 1.12. And I just looked this up today, but it's from 2017, so that's really old. So yeah, this has kind of been, not up to date for a long time. So I wanted to talk today about Minecraft 1.20, which actually is about archaeology and stuff. So yeah, I'm not really sure, doesn't seem to be too much in 1.20, but it's exciting because it is the most recent version of Minecraft. So it would be pretty cool to be a mod on that version. Just should say that the mod, I did an announcement like this back in December. This was the alpha release on 1.19.3, a version that basically nobody mods on, but it's just what I started working on back mid last year. So we've had the alpha out, lots of bugs and things, but the last 2 months I've been fixing tons of bugs, adding a bit more content, but mostly working on little drum. Okay. Flan's mod reloaded for 1.20.1. So that's I'm now up to date. I'm on the latest version of Minecraft. So this is pretty cool. This is something I've been working towards for quite a while. It's something I've wanted for a long time. As you can tell, being like 7 years out of date on your favorite passion project kind of sucks. So. Yeah, this has been quite an achievement. You can see it's on 1.20 because here's a gun and here's a sniffer. Sniffer's I don't know, it's like that's what 1.20 was for. I don't know what they do. I guess they sniff. So yeah, I was just going to say some things about what you can do with the current version of the mod. So it is a rebuild of the mod. You do not currently have vehicles. That is one of the main things that's missing, but that will be coming next. So there is crafting, there are guns, and there are content packs, as there used to be. These are some of the official content packs, which are content made by me and by Prototype Theta, who's one of the old community members who makes a lot of stuff for the mod. So Vendor's Game, meet Vendor in your world, and they will sell you all sorts of cool weapons and lasers and attachments and stuff. So that's like your standard, sort of modern weapons pack. We've got basic parts. It's a parts pack. It gets the job done. It offers you all these parts to build your stuff with, and bullets and things. It's also got distillation mechanics to get access to some of these weird resources. So it's like a tiny tech mod. One of the things that I've really wanted for so long, and I just never really had the time to do it, is just enough item support. So if you're familiar with Minecraft modding, this is it's almost like a recipe finder for modded Minecraft. You can see every item in your mod pack. You can click on it. You can see, oh, how do I make this? My mod has always had these gun boxes where the recipes are not really listed anywhere or documented very well. So having this, where you can just click on this gun and it shows you you can make it from these parts, and then you click on the parts and it tells you how you make those parts. Really awesome. I'm really happy with this. That's been another sort of long-term goal. So that's pretty cool. I also wanted to announce there is another content pack. It's an official crossover with Create. If you've played Minecraft modding, modded Minecraft recently, you'll probably be familiar with Create because it's kind of breaking down a lot of the barriers about what we thought could be done with Minecraft. I mean, obviously you can do anything that's modding, but they've done really good on making lots of contraptions and moving parts and things, and really changing the Minecraft landscape. So Prototype Theta has been making a content pack which is a crossover between Flan's mod and Create. You can craft the gun parts using the Create mechanisms and everything, so that's pretty cool. It also has a dog. I'm going to do a presentation on this on another week, but all of this, all the content goes through Unity, and I will be doing tutorials about how to get your old content from 1.12 and into 1.20. And just how to make new content, so watch out for that. Where did the dinosaurs go? Today, dinosaurs are... No, never mind. Questions? Any questions? James?
We have a question from the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Had a question in mind. Did you consider creating some kind of visual content pack creator, kind of like MC Creator, but specific for Flan's Mod Reloaded?
So that is effectively what this modding tool is. I don't know about the visual part of that. That might mean a little bit more user-friendly. I went for the slightly more like high-tech approach. So this uses the Unity editor. All of the assets that you create are in Unity as prefabs. If you're familiar with Unity, you'll sort of understand how this works. If you're not, I'm hoping to do some tutorials that will take you through it. And hopefully, at the end of the day, if you've made some content in this tool and used it to get some stuff into Minecraft, you'll actually have some good like transferable Unity skills. So that would be nice. Yes, I'm aware of MC Creator and Blockbench and things like that. So I'm not trying to replace those. It's just like another option. Yeah, James again.
What's your favorite dinosaur?
I think like probably like a Brontosaurus or something. I played a lot of Ark Survival Evolved, so the rock drakes are not real dinosaurs, but I love them. James again.
When do you think vehicles are supported again?
Vehicles, that's a big question. It's the main part that's missing. I would say I'm going to focus on like, so this is like the big like first release. I'm going to be focused on the content tool and making sure that that pipeline is pretty solid, and then like it's like my next big task. So probably give it a month before I start, and then give it like 3 months or something at minimum, I'd say, because it's quite a big batch of stuff. So at least I'd say probably about half a year at an estimate. Yeah. James again, I guess chat.
No, you can ask him this.
No, I'm sorry. It's just that he was asking all the questions from the chat, so I added one.
Oh, okay.
What's your favorite gun?
My favorite gun? Ooh, it has to be, it's not on this presentation, but a frog gun, which is it's a concept that Marika's mocked up for, we've got a few cool ideas in the works for new content packs to show off some cool new stuff you can do. This tool has a whole animation system, so you can do custom animations for every gun. So one of the things I want to do, it might be in Discord actually, is do some steampunk style guns with alternate skins that are completely wacky and basically change the entire mesh. I guess I don't have it. But yeah, it's a frog. It shoots baby frogs if you want it to, or it shoots grenades.
I guess I'm into Minecraft right now.
Cool. Thank you.
Next up to talk about the game jam experience, it's Sascha.
Oh. Hello. Let's see if it works this time. It does. Yeah, I'm gonna talk a little bit about what we did during the game jam, and I'm trying to tell a bit about me because I never really did that. I'm kind of putting it in every presentation just a little bit. So let's get started. The game I'm most hyped about this year is going to be Homeworld 3. Yay! Okay. The last thing I backed on Kickstarter is like this huge Battletech for the board game pack with all those new miniatures. Okay, I see. Games I play with friends. There's probably something that will excite people. At least Valheim and Stardew Valley, I guess.
Yay!
Yay! Yoo-hoo! Finally! So, nice. That was about me.
No.
No? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was also there in Malmö in the game habitat for the Global Game Jam, and I brought all my photogrammetry equipment, and I bought in Malmö some Play-Doh because I had the fantastic idea to hand make assets, scan them, process them, and then put them into a game. And like this nice little tool in the bottom left, the Play-Doh press, it's the most satisfying thing I did in the past I don't know, 15 years or so. It's like so satisfying to push the dough through it. And the game that we made was called Burning Baby. Yeah, that was our reaction too. And this is how the assets looked after making them, scanning them. We did use Unity, and Unity is, it needs time to make things pretty. But in the end, everything you see on the screen, despite the bubbles, are assets that we made out of Play-Doh and scanned them. And it was it is a two-player game that's intended to be played with controller. You have a witch on the left and a witch on the right side. And your goal will be to grab these things from the middle and throw it into your pod, which is on the enemy side. And you could block off incoming objects. And the last object that would come into the arena was the baby, which would make very cute sounds. And you had to ignite the baby on the fire of your pot and then throw it over. And it still made funny sounds, even if you did that. And yeah, that is our game. If people with controllers and two-player split screen are interested in playing it, I can also put a link into the showcase. And here's a funny thing that made me laugh a lot. I wanted to share. It's from Oglev, a wonderful webcomic and a beautiful humor. Any questions? Yes?
Don't you have a video of the game?
No. I make a notation that this is a learning. Have a video. Arca?
How many triangles, vertices are there on screen?
It's around 15,000 per asset. When I scanned them freshly, like before processing, it went around 10 mil. And after processing, it was 15,000. I think with more time, more preparation, I could easily go down to 10 or even 7,000 and still have it look great.
But you just choose a number and it processes, lowers it.
Yeah, I was kind of in a hurry during the jam. And I had some issues because Play-Doh was actually pretty hard to scan. Because it's like this, the surface has quite low contrast. And the camera, or like the software, doesn't find many feature points on that. So I had, for the pants, roughly about 800 to 900 feature points per image. While if I would have taken a regular rock, I would have gone up to 10 to 15 or 20,000. So it would have been great to have had the Play-Doh delivered early here and have made some scan tests to see how I can do it best. Because it was kind of like a little fight on site to try to make it work, and I kind of had to rescan some things. But I guess during a game jam of 2 days, I could scan around 20 to 25 assets in 3D.
Okay, cool, thank you. Next up, questionable whether he's public domain. He's nowhere near as old. He's here to talk about Mickey Mouse. It's Matej.
Who is public domain? What I'll show you will be public domain.
But you're not public domain.
I'm not public domain? I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, you're introverted, maybe.
50 years after my death, I will be public domain.
Well, retro.
So I'm Matej. I am working on a game called Pixel Art Academy. Let's do this one. And last time I talked about, so I've been making new tutorials for my game Pixel Art Academy. Last time I showed you this tutorial that starts talking about jaggies. Then I talked about diagonals, and I promised there will be more tutorials about jaggies. So here's the second tutorial about jaggies. So basically this one explains how in pixel art, because it's on a grid, like if we want to draw lines, usually what we try to do is we try to have
these little segments, rows or columns of pixels that only connect in the corners. That's the sort of aesthetic that kind of developed. But when you're just dragging with your pen tool, oftentimes you will be creating this because you cross 2 pixels at the same time. So we call these doubles, and we usually try to get rid of them. So you have to take an eraser and just get rid of one of each. And here it tries to explain, I will need to expand on this so it's explained even better, but here it tries to explain why the aesthetic is a little bit of a not as good. If you imagine what the artist intended when they were drawing this line, this would be drawn in this blue thing. Whenever you get this jaggy here on the conceptual level, basically it breaks your sort of flow. So yeah, that's why the doubles are questionable. Later on I will explain there's art styles that do use them, and there's sometimes where you can't avoid them. But yeah, that's kind of the theoretical idea. Sometimes you have this thing that people call jaggis also when you don't have doubles. So this pixel here is basically, it's creating a dent in our line. Because this is this single pixel over here, so the way you fix it, you push this up, and now you have another smooth line. And this will be further expanded on in the tutorials about curves. And then finally, this is what we've already talked about last time, how diagonals, if you're using uneven number of segments, also break up this flow of the lines. So again, you fix it by pushing things in. Obviously now it's a different line. But yeah, so sometimes you can't go around it, sometimes you can when you have the freedom to do so. After this, there's a little mini challenge basically, where you apply this on a line that you just can't draw. Oh, that was bad. And then after you do this, you get a wait, what's the funny part? Oh, because I got an yeah. So exactly, so you get a pixel art evaluation paper where it tells you, hey, here you have the doubles. And in fact, we also have 2 corners. You can hover over stuff. So this one's here, it's not a double because it's not like I have to choose between 2 of them, but it's still this sort of unintentional corner. So then you get rid of them, and eventually it will tell me that everything is fine in the world. Let's do it like this. Yeah, so it's it's slowly improving, right? We're getting there. Oh, there you go. So it's not a perfect line, it's not smooth, that's what the curve tutorial will be doing, but it's still a pixel perfect line because it doesn't have any doubles. And then, now that you've done this, we can go to the Mickey Mouse. So, just like last time, we had this, look the frog. We had this selection of, so you have multiple challenges you can pick up. Now I've created a new selection tool for the next challenge, which is pixel art line art. And here you get a little binder, and then you open it up, and then you get little folders. Right now it's just one thing, but it will be other stuff. But yeah, this is a poster of Mickey Mouse from 1928, which is now public domain. So you pick it up, and then yeah, you can go in and you take the reference, and you get to see an outline of what you draw. At this point, it's not the purpose of you having to know how to draw things straight up with siding. So it just gives you the lines, and then yeah, you get to draw stuff, and then you also get to choose what do you want to be graded on. And so if you want to continue and get a grade for pixel perfect lines, you go here and you complete the whole Mickey Mouse, and yeah, that's it. Any questions?
Oh, wow.
My cheating works very good this time around. Yes.
How do you get it exactly 5 minutes?
He looks like a horror.
I don't know. I just leave a lot of stuff out that I could show, and then I don't. Oh yeah, I don't have a reset button, but I guess I have undo. So yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Next up to talk about their isometric side project, it's Matt.
Yeah, so I've been working on a side project the last few weeks. It's kind of inspired by older isometric platformer adventure kind of games. So this one's Super Mario RPG. This is Landstalker. So I'm interested in making a game like this, but I'm going to try and do it in 3D. So one of the things that I'm kind of trying to, I don't know, improve upon with this is like this depth perception issue that these games have, because they have 3D gameplay, but with like a 2D orthographic view. So I'm going to use like a perspective camera, and also incorporate some like real-time lighting stuff. Yeah, so I'll just. Oh, and also one of the cool things that you can do with like modern like isometric techniques is you can make this one kind of block tile, and you can design it in such a way that it tiles in all directions. So this is just one piece, which tiles all over the place like this. And that's kind of very appealing from a workflow perspective as well. So anyway, I'll show you kind of where I've got to and then kind of break down what I did. So this is the current like prototype. Yeah, so it's got like perspective camera and 3D lighting stuff in it. So yeah, the whole world's made up of, well, most of the world's made up of these cubes, which fit together like this. And yeah, the secret is that it's actually just 3 faces of a cube, and it's a texture projected onto the corner of a cube mesh using very careful like UV coordinates that I did in Blender. And then like an alpha cutout around the edge. Yeah, so one of the details that I think kind of makes this work is that is not to let the pieces kind of clip through each other visibly. So you can see if you drop the piece down, you get this kind of hard edge which goes against the pixel grid and doesn't look as good. So what I do when I'm making the pieces is, this is kind of like the canonical cube piece, and on the bottom edge I try to avoid going over these pixels. These are like safe pixels here. Anything lower than that might clip into the floor. But on the top edge I do go over, because I've kind of decided that on the top edge I want that to go over so that it can cover up the gaps at the front of the cube and make it tile. But the bottom doesn't go over because I suppose at these intersections between the top and the bottom, I want the top to take precedence. The bottom shouldn't go through. Yeah, so another detail is that I'm using Magic of Voxel to make the levels, and I'm learning Godot at the moment. This is my first kind of Godot project, but I'm importing the Vox file into Godot and replacing the voxels with these cube pieces. And then as I go on, I'll make it so that different colored voxels get replaced by different types of terrain. So these assets that I've got so far are based on this pack that I bought from Itch called Awakening, which is like inspired by classic Zelda on Game Boy. And then what I do as kind of a starting point is I take individual tiles like this wall tile, and then I tile it horizontally, and then I skew the pieces, and then kind of see at what point in the tiling it looks good. And then I kind of fill in a ground plane on top, and then I just sort of massage the edges so that it all tiles nicely in all directions. So I think what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to try and use it to make a Metroidvania in the Metroidvania Month Jam, which starts in a few weeks. Yeah, so wish me luck. Anyway, that's the thing. Any questions? Lena?
Is the world made out of bread?
Bread.
So tasty.
It kind of looks like bread, doesn't it?
Sandwich cake town.
Mud cake.
Yeah, delicious rocky bread. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Do you have plans to like rotate the camera at all, or does this only work for one angle?
Oh, right. Yeah, so I'm planning not to rotate the camera. So I have a slightly perspective camera with like a 20-degree field of view. But if you go much outside of that, it kind of starts to break the illusion. And so it was kind of the idea from the start that the camera wouldn't rotate. I want to make something which feels like a classic, game where you're not looking around freely. Yeah. Any other questions? Cool. Thank you.
Next up to talk about soothing voice actors, it's Leene.
So, I really like storytellers and, like children's stories and stuff. Currently I'm working on the trailer for Broken Alliance, and I have the script voice acted in by Jimmy Yamaguchi, and also I just put some lovely music, butchered it a bit on from the Adam made, and this is what I have right now, and I'm gonna build the whole trailer around this. Woo.
Turn it up in Discord. And start again.
Yep.
The world of Vale has always been known for its beauty. Its people gathered into 4 factions, lived in peace and harmony. Their days were full of simple, mundane pleasures. But such things cannot last. And eventually, each faction has to face the looming cataclysm. Unless you find a way to lead the path of chaos. I await you.
Yeah, so that's the basis of the whole trailer, and I'm gonna show it soon, probably in some weeks when I'm done with that. Now we jump to the other game, Craft, and I'm gonna show you that we made an actual nice intro screen for it. There we go. Yeah, the meow blinks and stuff. Yeah, just lovely, chill. And you can start the demo, and you make the character. And then you hear another lovely voice.
Windspell, the crafter's paradise. Town of 1,000 shops, hosting caravans, adventurers, nobles, and everything in between. From the far-flung spires of Spindlegard to the salt-brine jetties of Scuttlebutt Reef. From the oasis villages of Bronze Ridge to the mysterious depths of Nettle View. You still can't believe that you finally managed to open your own storefront here. It's at the back end of a laneway where the city guards forget to light the torches at least once a fortnight. And the water pumps don't always work on the first attempt, but it's yours. After years of apprenticeship and study in the Crafters Guild and cobbling together the money from small commissions, you can buy and sell as a proper crafter. You're not sure what exactly you're going to sell yet. That, you reason, depends on what the customers ask for. You're flexible. Less flexible is the feeding schedule of your pet owlcat, Meow. So hopefully those customers start showing up and buying things sooner rather than later. Any day now. Any day.
And there we start with the game.
Hello?
Groundskeeper Bellin, please. Or better, just Bellin. I understand that you offer smithing services here. Well, I've been scrimping and saving for a blade for quite some time. and I believe I am finally ready to commission one. You misunderstand. There's no way a farmer such as I could afford a proper sword with less than a year's coin. A simple dagger would suit me, I think. Something I could use for whittling and to cut back the overgrowth around the edges of the farmstead.
How much time do I have left?
1 minute.
Okay. Can continue. With this chill.
The smithing thing has been bypassed at the moment.
Oh, okay.
It makes a hilt instantaneously for you.
Ah, nice. We have a new, new version of it. Does it work?
Yeah, pull.
Oh yeah, I pull. Pulling right now. Just chilling here. No.
Yeah.
Cool. Bypassed this. That's lovely though. You don't have to grind as much for now.
Context, we're working on a rhythm-based smithing thing at the moment, so things have been bypassed for this build.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, any questions? Yeah, yes, Marika.
How many times, Brian, did you had to say and practice all the names of the little towns and shops and whatever to get it right? Or did you just do it?
Because nobody else had recorded any voice acting up until that point, I think I just did it, not in one, but I did like 4 or 5 takes. And then
Sounds
just pick,
like super difficult, like
and then
tongue
just
twisters.
pick the best bits from each. So that's basically, so I defined the pronunciation essentially. Yeah. So other people.
Yes.
Are the voice actors all members of your team?
No. Some voice actors already worked with us on our last game, but mostly we just put out a open call and we chose the best ones, and we will do that for the next characters as well. Currently we have 3 characters and then Brian doing the main narrator in here. Yes.
Just a meow, meow, or poo?
Currently purrs a bit, very lightly, but there's gonna be meow sounds for sure. Yes, James.
Will you be able to pet it in the main menu as well?
No, not yet, but I'm quite sure that will be a thing. You need to be able to pet the meow as much as possible. Yes?
The mouth animation, is that something
yeah.
manually, or is
That's a lot of fun. Actually, that is not manual. It comes from the voice acting file. So if if it hears a louder voice, then it probably somebody's opening their mouth, right, and talking. So the same with the bouncing of the character while it talks. So both are tied to just the audio, and it works out of the box with a very
tied to amplitude or something, the volume of the waveform, so that it triggers that kind of change.
Yeah, it's like almost perfect, I would say. It's not like exactly, but like you don't have to add anything, so it just works now. And we have different expressions for them as well. So different expressions, and then they have mouth open and mouth closed version of all the expressions, and I think that's enough to make it look more alive, the character. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you so much.
Okay, next up is a video from a past homie, Lionel. So it's going to be a game teaser cinematic, apparently.
Transmitting from New York.
Wow. Woo! It's a Google file. Let's hope it's accessible. Well.
Right.
Let's go with the Google Drive file first, because I think the other one is... Okay. Oh, 1 second.
Thank you for sharing that, Lionel. I'm going to open up the other link, which I assume is a link to a Steam page for Scarred Mansion, the game that he's just working on. So wishlist that, so you can follow the progress of that. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. If anybody has any questions, they can probably put it in the chat. Maybe Lionel is there, I'm not sure. Or, yeah. So without further ado, then, we can move on to Dani, who's going to talk about Corr, Jurassic Park, and the Pantagonian. Let's see. Here we go. Wait, what the fuck? Okay. I'm Dani, and I'm working on Corr currently. And for the longest while, it's been kind of difficult to show what I've actually been working on. I've been doing a lot of writing, but there's not like a lot of show to like dialogue to show. That's because like one part of writing is also like just thinking about what your mechanics are actually expressing, like what story it's telling. Like for an example with Tetris here, like the mechanics are telling a story about like making order out of chaos. And like if you just change like the imagery here to like slaves, like it becomes an entirely different story, right? And like what does that say about the author of this game? Like what was his intent? And if you're playing this game and you're enjoying it, what story does that tell about you as a person, right? Right. So allegory. That's a huge part of it. It's this story that is being told with negative space. There are no people here in this image, but still there are, right? You can still see there's an apple, but really there are. And there are no people, but there are. Does that make sense? Right? So, that's the stuff that you might not notice, but as Harry S. Plinkett would say, your brain notices. I got that thing here. Yeah, so I'm gonna use Jurassic Park as an allegory for Corr right now, because if I just talked about that stuff about our own game, that would just totally ruin it. So I'm gonna go with Jurassic Park as an allegory for that. I'm not gonna do a completely a full-out literary analysis of the game, but I'm gonna sample some layers of depth within that and see if maybe we could learn something, which will be at the end really. So starting out, in Jurassic Park, there's this symbol of the Velociraptor claw, and this combined with the main character Alan Grant, these two things are being associated. So he's being associated with the Velociraptor, that's becomes part of his personality, right? And his personality is that he hates kids. So it's a two-way street where his hate of kids and family becomes projected onto the Velociraptors as well, right? So this is where he's using the Velociraptor claw, fantasizing just cutting this kid's stomach open, and we were told the Velociraptors later on they're just killing their own family members. Later on, he eventually rejects this part of himself, comes to accept that maybe children are not so bad, and so he throws away this Velociraptor claw. But the Velociraptors are still loose in Jurassic Park. They're hunting the kids, and then he has to face an aspect of his old self, and eventually he is sacrificing his own life to protect his family and kids, right? And and this very act is, that's what allegorically saves him. The Velociraptors are being eaten by the T-Rex. So you might not have noticed these things, but your brain did. I can't exactly. We probably just skip on. So there's also this symbol here of this mosquito that is being embedded inside this amber, and it's
So, and we're first introduced to this like at the start, almost like at the start of the movie, where this greedy lawyer walks into this dark mine and he like hits his head because he can't see anything. They then like showcase this amber thing, and it's a symbol of greed, of greed really. This blood-sucking mosquito that is being embedded inside this amber, right? And so later on, like John Hammond, which is like the creator of this island, he gets so confused that nobody can see things from his perspective, and he says like, and the only one I've got on my side is the blood-sucking lawyer, right? And so, but the irony here is that he is just like the lawyer, like he is just as blinded by greed as the lawyer is. Like his symbol is the blood-sucking mosquito that is embedded inside this. I'm gonna go over time, but I'll rush through. So this is a part, like a reflection of Hammond himself, just as the Velociraptor is like a reflection of Dr. Grant. So he's completely blinded by greed. Like he keeps saying like spared no expense, but the thing is he's just a pathological liar, and he just cannot see that. Like he is like so corrupt. Like the investors that are trying to like that sets all this movie into motion really. Like they want Alan Grant as a secondary opinion, but what Hammond does is that he essentially bribes Grant's and Ellie's opinion. His origin is that he is like tricking kids into believing that there are it's a flea circuit, like it's just a complete lie, and that's what he's built his empire on. Even the dinosaurs are not like really real. Like he uses like frog DNA to create these dinosaurs, when in reality they are related to birds. And like this, I spared no expense is also like a complete lie. Like the person who like ends up shutting down all the power on the island, that lets all these dinosaurs loose. Like he does this because like he didn't feel like he was getting paid enough, right? He felt like Hammond was getting completely cheap on him, and that's essentially also why he dies, because he is completely blinded by greed, right? So. During his escape, there's this massive storm. He can hardly see anything. His glasses get all foggy. He drives into this sign and completely loses his way. And eventually, he crashes. He loses his glasses and justifies it by saying, "Well, I can just buy more glasses." The Dilophosaurus is it doesn't in reality like shoot. Stuff like gooey stuff, but it's just a vehicle for this metaphor because it's like blinding him. Just like with the lawyer who hits his head in the dark, Nedry here hits his head on the car because he's completely blinded and he falls on his ass. And then he does like the most damnable thing is that he doesn't close the door. And the Dilophosaurus get in, and that thing about not closing the door is like also like another layer of depth of storytelling, because in the background, something that you will not notice like on the first 50 times maybe is this pattern where like these bad guys are not closing the door. Like this guy is getting so mad because this character is like he didn't close the door. The lawyer gets scared of the monster, but and he just does not think about the kids at all. And when they close the door, like the T-Rex comes after the kids, and the adults will have to like lure it away. Unfortunately, they lure it away, or over to the lawyer, and he ends up getting eaten. And so this is another thing that is getting repeated here, is that the dinosaur gets in because he didn't close the door, or rather because he was blinded by greed. Yeah, you didn't notice that, but your brain probably did. It probably did. And there's just so much about this movie, like layer and layer and layer. This seatbelt scene here, I'm not going to explain that, but it's just a joke when the first time you see it, but it has serious like narrative depth, right?
Put on another timer. Just
Yeah.
How much long is this? Are you getting to a point?
I am. I'm just like revealing layers, but yeah, I'm hurrying. Okay, so another thing that I love about this is this Chilean sea bass quote. It seems like a completely throwaway line, but the sea bass is Chilean sea bass is actually just a marketing term for this nasty ass fish that nobody ever wanted to buy. But in order to sell it to Americans, like they renamed the Pantagonian toothfish to Chilean sea bass, and that is actually an allegory for the author himself when he made Jaws back like 20 years earlier than that. Like this is his Chilean sea bass, like because he made the shark this evil thing. Like it ended up killing a lot of sharks, and he has been feeling guilty about that. So yeah, I'm gonna just rush through some of this here. Okay, so to game development stuff, I think it's important to think about these things because like these are becoming careers within people's lives. Like there are people who are making money just from analyzing your games, and so yeah, like think about the allegories of your mechanics, and think about that as an allegory for the story without it actually being like a literal part of the story. Anyways, I'm gonna end it here. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been working on with Corr, and that's why it's difficult to show something. But yeah, questions if we have time. Yeah.
So, did you find these allegories yourself? Or
Yes.
You did?
Yes. Yes. Okay, so you should see my analysis of Bloodborne. Like that is downright psychotic. Yeah.
When can I see the allegories for Bloodborne? And can you do that on a Sunday talk? Because I would like to listen to more of the stuff because this is good fuel for game design stuff. So
Sure.
I would love to. Yeah, when are you making this available?
I mean, I can talk more about Jurassic Park as well, but the Bloodborne thing is probably going to take me another year, and I started on it like I think 3 years ago. It's been a process. Yeah.
So when are you starting your YouTube channel?
Oh.
To explain Bloodborne.
Well, I don't know. Maybe never.
What would I said? And also, which is your favorite dinosaur?
The Velociraptor, not the Jurassic one, but the real one. Yeah.
The real one.
Does it have feathers in your head?
Yes.
Small. So, based on what I've seen from the movie industry, they're usually not that deep.
No.
But
So
do you have any foundation for them actually thinking this?
Yeah, so the reason that they're not that deep is that they're utilizing pretty much what is called weaponized intertextuality, right? So your brain is getting all of this stuff and is super happy about it. And whenever you're making a sequel, your brain is automatically going to make an association to this. So you are going into these movies and still just subconsciously just anticipating that you're getting all of this stuff. But it takes work to make this stuff, so they just end up not doing that in sequels because this did all the legwork already, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's why you'll see Jurassic World, it does have depth to it, but its depth is that it's shitting on you because it doesn't really have any depth. Does that make sense? Yeah. You should watch both of them really. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Not sure how we're going to follow that, but next up to talk about their art, it's Xavier.
I feel like this was this week's Viking boat.
It was entertaining, I just didn't know where it was going at the time.
Compared to that, I'm going to disappoint because I prepared mine in 20 minutes. So, where is it?
Left side.
Oh yes, here. Wonderful, it is die unbekannte Präsentation. Alright, so I'm going to talk about the things I made in my second week working on Outlaw Kingdoms art. So what we did this time is we started making what I made was some base characters, and to get down the different humanoids we have and to compare them and see that each of them reflect what they're supposed to be. So we started with the humans. Oh, they're also not going to be undressed or type. It's like the basic character thing, but they will be dressed for the game. I will then make different versions of this with different equipment, so we can get a lot of characters. Because I think we need like 50 or 60. So, yeah. And so there's the humans. They're a dirty and sneaky race, and that should be reflected in this character who is the way he is. We also put him into Unity to try out his topology and how he works in there. I did not have the time to rig or animate him, so Mixamo did that for me. And then we went off with the dwarf, who's supposed to be a very sturdy, tanky, rectangular kind of character. It will be heavily armored once it is in the game. And yeah, that's them.
Giving the people what they want.
Yes. Look at him go. If we just had the processing power to make him jiggle. Anyway, then we have the elves. These are kind of our glass cannon / healer characters. They are very frail, but they can use magic to compensate for that. But I think his statue kind of reflects his very low health points and how easy it is to kill him. And he unfortunately does not look as good as the dwarf when he dances. I don't think I will make a character that can beat the dwarf at dancing. I don't see it happening, unfortunately. And yeah, that's me. That's all I made this week. I already see a hand up, and you may ask a question or a comment.
Do you also have female characters?
These will be coming in the future. I basically randomly started with the human male character, and then we decided to make all males for the start to compare the different humanoids. And the next thing I'm going to do after finishing making the orc guy and the goblins and the trolls is, sorry, not ogres, not trolls, but it's pretty much the same anyway, is then make the female ones of those. Yes.
Will female dwarves have beards by default?
Yes, they will have beards. It is important in dwarf society to have beards. Only the beardiest dwarfs get to mate, therefore there is no non-bearded dwarfs. Yes?
Will they have the same clothes, or will they have be able to have different clothes?
Basically, they will, depending on the character class they are. There, for example, might be human cultists of different ranks, and every specific cultist of every rank will have like their own individual clothing and silhouette, so you can distinguish them, because on the game screen they're going to be very small because it's a strategic top-down game. So yes, they will be very differently dressed, and there will be very few topless characters. I'm sorry, there might be some on the lower classes where you can't afford clothes with your character yet, but yeah. Yes?
Is there any special technique that you use for the line work, like both in the textures and the outlines for the characters?
Well, for the outlines, there's depending on the software, there's always like some kind of tutorial for how to do outlines. In general, what it usually does is it explodes the mesh outwards, and then you flip the normals off the exploded thing and then color that black, and then say backface column.
And are the inner ones just drawn into the texture?
Yes. The basic. I don't really have a good texturing tool. I'm using Blender for this, and I just hand paint those.
Cool.
No. It's surprisingly effective.
Thank you.
What?
Last of our online presentations today, talking about stats, it's Kasper.
So 2 weeks ago, we presented the new rework for James, and he agreed that it looked good. I hope so. And I decided to rework everything. So I made this fine little stats modifier like editor tool for myself. I pretty much reused this for the last one. So this way you can go in and pick the stats. You can go in and modify it. You can add like a percentage modifier, so you don't have to do. So you can do it all in editor instead of actually have to do it through the code. And next up, I made the unit like container that contains everything. You may have a lot of inspector here, but so on the left side we have where like nothing is loaded in, and on the right side you can see everything is loaded in. So you can see it loaded all in the stats and stuff. And that means that we can just yeet the unit container into a thing, and it will pop in the different units. So I wanted to try like a new thing I've been thinking about a while. Like, can you just like yeet like a tag ability system where you just make a scriptable container that contains everything about like the attack? So here's like it's a single target melee, and it's also like I went into team-tied factors. The Legion Legend ones installed their idea with resource generating to actually do a usability. So this like generates a resource, and here's an example of the archer. You can see he shoots 1 arrow, and sometimes he will shoot 3 arrows. So he has 2 abilities: one to the normal attack, and a special ability that costs 2 resources. So literally by going up to the attack ability tag, we can choose projectile, and then choose target and multiplier, and says, you know, use the maximum radius around the target and set it to like 11. Meaning that when it shoots at the target, it would take a random 2 additional targets around that. And I kind of did the same thing with, what is this? Oh yeah, this is the healing. It's kind of hard to see, but sometimes the blue guy will go yellow. And that would also apply a buff. So at the bottom you can see there's like a buff scriptable object. And you can then go in and modify that as well. So you can say like add additional over time, how much it heals, how often it ticks. And I also apparently added a attack speed buff as well. So you get like 100% more attack speed. And the right side you can see it, here is what is actually applied to the target. So you can see the current time, like it's just slowly ticking down. And here's some examples of like how do you actually get those ability on the targets. So each character will have traits, and you just like if you have the dagger trait, you get the quick normal attack and quick step. Kind of hard to see, but I guess you know with dark magic you can easily see it. You had like the normal bolt, the free flying bolt, and the healing ability. So I kind of like wanted to see if I could make a system where I just do everything in the editor and just change it. And that's 2 weeks of work. Any questions? Thanks.
Is it feature complete for now, or do you have already new features you're planning on doing for this system?
I kind of also wanted AoE to work as well. Else I think it's working pretty well. It is a lot of interface stuff, but it works so far. If anyone want to talk shop on how to make an ability system, you can just yeet into it. I'm more than happy to talk about it because I have no idea what I'm doing. Yes.
Is there any plans down the road for like variable like terrain, like height, like hills or things like that, or is it all going to be flat? And if there would be hills, would there be things like advantages on attacks from elevation versus, or is that like far into the future thought kind of?
Right now it can pretty easily be added. So I was not something I was actually thinking about, but yeah, that's going to be like terrain, not just a flat plane.
Cool.
That's it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for our online presentations. There is one sneaky offline presentation. And in case you didn't get it by my accidental leaving the Patreon screen on for the entire intro, you can support us on Patreon. We are always up for receiving some money here to buy new equipment for the house or things to make the homies feel better while they work on their games. Thank you for joining us this week, and we'll see you again next week. Bye!
Bye!